Good morning. Good Sunday morning. And appropriately, the sun is out. It's that was such a cool start to a video. I told you guys I was going to get better at doing this. Anyway, it is when I started this morning it was 15 degrees. And that was just a few minutes ago thinking, holy cow, it's really warming up. And it's 26. I'm sitting here ready to take off layers. But that's the beauty of hiking. You know, a lot of people look outside, see it snowing, whatever, see snow on the ground and think, I'm not going to go out there. I'm going to stay here in the nice warm. I'm telling you, once you're out here for 10 minutes, it's nice and warm. It doesn't matter how cold it is. If it's like negative or below zero, it might take you 13 minutes to get warmed up. But once you're there, if you keep moving, you feel great, and it's pretty quiet. Other humans who are more sane are not there, and lots of beauty and solitude. But one of the things I was thinking about as I've been hiking along this morning is kind of some of the interesting elements of being a Gen X. And, I mentioned many times about you spend that first 20, 25 years being told what to do, where to be, what you should and shouldn't do and all that stuff. And it really kind of gives you the lessons that are going to drive the habits as you start off into your adult life, and finding out what those first 25 years deliver you based on a life experience for those habits. But as Gen Xers, when I was in high school, I know I had 2 years of typing. And it was maybe at the beginning of my senior year when word processors finally became like something that was, economical enough to where, normal people could buy it. And I think it was around that time where, some of that stuff gets mushed up. But I was used to, in typing class, if you were lucky, you had an electric typewriter. But some people still had manual typewriters at their desk. That was what we worked with. And when the word processor came out, it was like, holy cow, you mean I can actually edit on that big, huge screen, that CRT screen? And then I don't have to use whiteout and all the other stuff. So I thought that was super cool technology. But again, all of our foundational learning up through 18 at that point included the manual process of a typewriter. Small thing, not very significant. But another interesting thing I took computer programming class my senior year and made like a pool game where the stick would go back, hit the cue ball, it would go, hit the balls, and knock them all in the holes. And I used to have to go, I don't even remember what the code was. It was like 10, go to 20, and you would like just get all these lines of code, and then I would go over to Aquinas College, hope that they thought I was a college student so I could, get all these punch cards and run the punch cards into the machine to make the program work. But that was the extent of computers in our lives for the foundational portion of our learning. So even as, and I think that's when we're most open, that's when we take in the most information, those first 20 years or so before we hit the wall a few times and shut down for the rest of our lives. But with that being the case, as we did embark on that second 20 years, of course there's going to be a little bit of insecurity, because not only are we now, all right, I'm going to take what I learned and embark into my career, but now you're like, I'm going to take what I learned and embark on my career, but I got to go back and learn a bunch of other stuff because everything has changed. So, and obviously it got more and more crazy with changes really quickly at that point because technology was starting to take a foothold. But if you think about somebody who took an entrepreneurial path, I love that today they have entrepreneur clubs and different things like that, and schools are starting to teach a little bit more about that. They did not teach about that in the 70s and 80s that I was aware of. At least our school did not offer anything like that. And so if you took an entrepreneurial path, you did not go to college, which went completely against the entire narrative that we were taught our entire lives. So, unless you just really don't give a shit, and I don't know any 18-year-olds that are really in that position, but you probably felt like a little bit like damaged goods because you didn't follow what you were supposed to do, what you should do, and what everybody that wants to be successful did. So you enter into the world of entrepreneurship with no training, so you got to figure it out. But just because you didn't go to college doesn't mean you're not going to school. Because if you did not go to college, especially back in that day, you immediately started to go to school to become an entrepreneur. And that school essentially looked like scrambling around as quickly as you can, as manic as you can, to try to figure out ways to make enough money to pay the bills, having constant pressure on if you were going to have enough money to be able to, handle the things that you needed to do in life, having to figure out a bunch of stuff on your own because of that pressure and because of that pain, and at the same time potentially carrying that cloud over your head or that thought in the back of your mind of, I did this to myself. If I would have gone to college, it would be completely different, because that's what we were told, right? So it's just a completely different situation. And so as we are trying to figure that out as entrepreneurs and decided to take that path, some of the lack of schooling, unless we went and studied a whole bunch of stuff, but we started a business because it was something that we really like to do. That doesn't mean we really like to do sales or bookkeeping or all of the work all of the time, or being trapped and not having any type of life. Like, all of these potential circumstances that we have to deal with as entrepreneurs, we had no idea going into it that it was going to happen because there was never any education. Well, even talking about that whole path makes me feel a little bit anxious and a little bit tired. But honestly, we figured it out and we made it. And just like in other areas of life, even if we weren't an entrepreneur, we jumped in a career. Maybe we were in a volatile industry like, I don't know, long distance, which doesn't exist anymore. Or maybe, you sold film or whatever it happened to be. All of us have had those peaks and valleys and stuff. But the thing that remains constant is we typically figure it out. And so I know now technology has finally gotten to a place which is just amazing, to where it eliminates any of the technical drag, any of the knowledge of how to do things, even how to answer complex questions. You can get extremely accurate feedback through artificial intelligence. You can do things before that would cost you tens of thousands of dollars in minutes. It's just amazing. But that, I believe, is going to finally, we're the Gen Xers, we've got experience. We've been through our struggles for that second 25 years of life. As we look back, we reevaluate, determine what foundational beliefs we're going to follow going forward, and we make that commitment to do so. And now we have a tool that's like the great equalizer, and we are going to be able to deploy it and operate it so efficiently because our experience puts us in the position to know what questions to ask and what tasks to do for us. And if you're a Gen X entrepreneur, I'd love to talk to you. Please reach out. We can probably spend 30 minutes on the phone, and I can show you some things that will blow your mind. But yeah, I'm super excited about where we are in the world today. I don't feel like the struggle we went through and the odd path we took to get here of not being educated up front was a bad thing at all. I think it made us Gen Xers badasses because we figured a lot of that stuff out. And I'm excited about that. But anyway, I'm going to keep on hiking along and enjoying this beautiful morning. Again, look at that river. Look at that sun. And if you like that river and the sun and the stuff that the content I created today is at least meh, please go subscribe, share this with people you know, select the notifications thing so when I do create a new video, you know it's out. I'm trying to do it every day, but that's it. Have a great Sunday. Enjoy the sun. Bye.